What's up, Rams fans? Welcome back to Rams Showcase. Tonight, the Rams add depth to the ground game, plus Golden Tate to the Golden State? Maybe not. And later, better or worse from a year ago, we break down every position group next on Rams Showcase.
Welcome to Rams Showcase on Sports War Radio.
Whoa, what's going on, Rams fans? Welcome back to the Rams Showcase right here on Sports War Radio. I'm your host, Joe Brandon, but you can and should call me Sheriff Joe Bags. I am laying down the law for you guys tonight. A lot of cool stuff. We got positional breakdowns for you guys tonight, which is always a fun thing to do. This is actually partially a fan queso. Thank you very much, John, for this idea. This was asked in a fan queso, but as you guys will see here in a bit, pretty loaded. So we couldn't exactly just do it with just a queso. It would have taken up too much time, but we got it as a whole segment today. So, and then also a couple of things, potential signings maybe going on. We'll see, I guess. And then we do have a signing, actually, that we'll talk about here in just 1 second. And then later on, we got some fan cases. I want to say that Cody was the only one that dropped him. I didn't check. I only saw his name on the notification, and that was it. But, yeah. We'll get to those on the other side here. But first, I wanted to start with this, guys, because this is pretty big news, all right? Because we got a giveaway going on right now. We're doing it right now, this episode, giveaway time, all right? So all you Rams fans out there that love the Rams and things for the Rams, such as vinyl decals that you can put on your sweet wheels, then you need to listen up, all right? Because we are doing an entire Shaw's Customs giveaway, all right? So, and this one here is going to be a very simple giveaway. All you have to do is comment on this YouTube video, the full podcast YouTube video. If you guys are listening to me just audio, make sure you guys head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ram Showcase. Find the full podcast of this one and then comment on this exact show. Okay, so if you guys are seeing this on YouTube, you're in the right spot. All right, so comment below. All I'm going to need from you is your favorite Rams player, all right? This could be a favorite Rams player all time. This could be your favorite current Rams player. Does not matter to me. Comment your favorite Rams player, and you are in a drawing to win. And I will have something, maybe like it'll probably just be a Rams hat, and we will pull a name next week right here on the show. It'll be the first thing we do. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. It'll be the first thing that we do, and then that person will receive a little bit of a prize pack from Shaw's Customs, which is going to be some good stuff, all right? So there are a couple of rules that I need to clarify and to let you guys know about before I get in some trouble here. And the first one here is just going to be one entry per person, all right? Don't try to spam me. I mean, you can spam all you want to, but you only get one entry. So spamming doesn't help you at all. It just annoys me having to scroll. So if that's what you're into, hey, that's fine. It happens. The winner will be randomly selected on next week's episode. That is, what's today, the 23rd? So that should be the 30th, because that's how math works. Then I will record the show, and then it will be out the next day. But that's how you'll find out if you are a winner. After that, you do have until Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific time the following week. Let me just pull up my calendar here so I can give you guys dates. Because I don't want to screw anybody up here. So, yeah, the show will be recorded on the 30th. That means the episode will come out on the 1st, on July 1st. And then that means you guys have until July 4th at 9 o'clock LA time to message me and claim your prize. And what that means is messaging me with your address, anything like that, so that we can get this stuff to you. I need to be able to get it to you. But you can message me on one of three options. It will be either the Ram Showcase Instagram page, the Ram Showcase not YouTube, Twitter page, or the Ram Showcase Facebook page. Those are all reliable forms of communication for me, and I will see them. I'll be checking as well. I'll be checking for our winner, and then we'll get that sent out to you. And I do want to let you guys know as well, this is an important one, that by answering, you are giving myself and Ram Showcase permission to use your name and or photos in announcement to the winnings, all right? So if you comment and you don't win, I'm not going to just be like, hey, this guy's Jeff, you know what I mean? But you are giving me permission to put up your picture, maybe put up your name up, anything like that, and announce the winner. It's not going to be an anonymous winner, okay? It will be announced here, like I'm pulling it out, and that's when your name's going to be read. So you are giving me full permission to use your name and or photos by answering. So make sure you guys drop your favorite Rams player. Can be current, can be all time, and we will get you a Shaw's Customs prize pack sent out to you guys as soon as we can, as soon as we get that stuff from you guys, all right? Let's go ahead and move here to Otis Anderson Jr. He is now officially a member of the Los Angeles Rams, running back out of UCF. He posted pictures on Twitter of himself signing his contract with the Rams. And, you know, this overall feels like it could be like a low-impact signing or anything like that. But the more I've learned about this guy, the more it's like, hey, this might be the guy to kind of come in and maybe wreck some souls in preseason or something and maybe make an impact. Like this guy's got that kind of vibe to him. So we'll see what happens, I guess. I mean, that's what preseason we have this year is going to be awesome because we didn't get it last year. But Otis Anderson Jr. is a guy that I'm kind of looking at a little bit. To clarify, no relation to former Giants Super Bowl MVP Otis Anderson. I immediately was like, is it? Like, because it's Otis Anderson Jr. I was like, wait a second. It's not. No relation at all. But Anderson put up 2,182 rushing yards at UCF and 17 rushing touchdowns. He had 9 receiving touchdowns for 1,025 yards. His 6.1 yards per carry is second all-time in UCF history, so that's pretty awesome stuff. 8th in total yards and touchdowns in UCF history. Back-to-back 2A state champion in high school out in Florida. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. And then his freshman year, he not only lined up at running back, but he also lined up at wide receiver. And then his sophomore year and on, he also was it was more running back at that point, but he was also doing punt returns as well. So another guy that we can have doing punt returns right now. I mean, we've got the guys that can do it. Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, Tutu Atwell, Simba Webster, and now Otis Anderson Jr. potentially. So that's pretty cool. You know, it's never bad to be versatile. And if you look at this guy's history at UCF, definitely versatile. And you can tell that like with the numbers, like with the over 1,000 receiving yards from a running back. I mean, that's awesome stuff to see, especially out of a college running back. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. This is I don't think this is as low impact as it might initially have come off to me. I saw the name Otis Anderson Jr. signs with the Rams and was like, oh, okay. And then like kind of looking into him was like, wait a second though. Like this guy, like could this be a guy that could push other guys, Xavier Jones and Raymond Calais down the depth chart a little bit? Potentially. I mean, well, of course we need to see it on the field, but this is a guy that could potentially do that. Next up here, we got free agent wide receiver Golden Tate says that he would like to play for the Rams, the LA Rams. He said on Sirius XM NFL radio that he would like to play for the Rams because he had his best years with Matthew Stafford in Detroit. And he also said that he just really likes the NFC West. And actually kind of in passing while the guy was interrupting him, he kind of like threw in there like that he would like to play for any NFC West team. I think you can kind of hear it in there a little bit, but he just seems to really like the NFC West. I mean, we know that he played for the Seattle Seahawks, so he knows what it's about at least. And we've seen no comments so far from Jalen Ramsey. No comments so far from Jalen Ramsey on this yet, but with the history of Ramsey and Tate, I would say that this signing would be unlikely. And I think that really what we would see is McVay / Snead maybe going to Ramsey and saying like, hey, would this cause problems? I think we know it would. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I kind of feel like it would cause a problem. Jalen Ramsey and Golden Tate, they have a pretty intense history. And if you guys don't know it, I'll give you guys the briefest version of my understanding of it possible. And if you guys have any more other information or more information, anything, go ahead and drop it below. But from my understanding, Jalen Ramsey was with Golden Tate's sister. They were a couple. Then while she was pregnant, he left her and then started dating like a stripper or something like that. Ramsey did. So whole bag of mess right there. And then, I mean, we remember when Ramsey absolutely lit up Tate when Tate was with the Giants just last season. That was such an awesome hit. Not only did he just destroy Golden Tate, which is always great to see, but he like blew through a blocker. Like he saw his chance and he was like, no one's going to stop this. This is what happens next. All right. As Golden Tate gets driven into the ground, and he did. And it was awesome. And then Golden Tate, like he stands up immediately, looks at his blocker like, bro, oh, that's good stuff there. Good stuff. But let me see. Tate did name other teams there, too. He did not only name the Rams and the rest of the NFC West, kind of in passing, but he also mentioned that he would like to play for the Colts as well as the Titans. And honestly, these are not super wide receiver needy teams. So, you know what? Maybe he wants to fit into the crowd. Maybe he doesn't want to be the guy, Maybe because like the Rams have a bunch of wide receivers. The Titans, I mean, they've got, Brown and Julio Jones just went there. They just picked up Josh Reynolds this offseason. I don't think that the Colts wide receivers are bad by any means with like Pittman and all those guys. So maybe he doesn't want to be the guy. Maybe he doesn't want to go to a team where he can be the number one dude. Maybe he just wants to kind of fit into the pack. It's what it sounds like with these teams that he's suggesting. If he came to the Rams right now, I would say at best he would be our fourth best wide receiver. So ultimately, if the Rams did decide to do this, I think it would be a pretty low impact signing. In that, saying that he would be the fourth, that's putting him ahead of Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell. And I just don't know if that's necessarily true. He's 32 years old. He's a late June free agent. So that means the market's not very big for him. So I'm going to go ahead and say no thanks from myself. I'm not going to put it out to the universe like I normally do, saying like, there's no way this move happens. But I don't think it's necessary at all. I would be surprised if this move did happen because it's not necessary. He's 32 years old. We just picked up an older wide receiver in Deshaun Jackson. The history with Tate and Ramsey doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I don't know, man. It's Golden Tate. I don't think is coming back or coming to the Golden State to play for the LA Rams. Let's go ahead and hop into this positional breakdown, though. And again, thank you, John, for this one. This was asked as a fan queso, but like I said, it's just a little bit too loaded. I was unable to fit it into a queso, so now we get the whole segment. And then after this, we'll jump into our break, and then we got fan quesos on the other side, which I did not read a single one. No fan quesos were read, but we're good. That's always more fun, I think. It's a little bit more fun to just like hop into them and just like, you never know. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen with that. All right, so let's talk about the positional breakdown. And what we're doing here is we're going to look at the position groups from last year and this year. And what I did was I did not look at the playoffs or late season, anything like that. I actually looked at the week one roster, what we were looking at, and comparing that to what we have now and basically deciding if we got better, we got worse, or if we stayed the same in those positions. So let's go ahead and hop into it. And we'll start with the quarterback position. In 2020, the Rams entered the season with Jared Goff and John Wolford at quarterback. And now we know that this season we are entering week one with Matthew Stafford at quarterback, and John Wolford will still be the backup. We do have some other options there. Of course, Duck Hodges is on the roster. Bryce Perkins is in town, but really the Wolf, seems to be the guy that will be the backup to Matthew Stafford. The verdict on this one, improvement. I'm going to say this is an upgrade. It's simple. I mean, Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. By how much, we will see. We will wait and see that, but I don't think it's an extreme comment at all to say that Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And some of the comments that we're hearing from Sean McVay kind of just nail that in a little bit more and get me excited, honestly, because Sean McVay, he's out here hyping Matthew Stafford. And as Rams fans, we got to be excited about that. That's good stuff. Next up, running back. The Rams entered the 2020 season in week one with Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, and Xavier Jones. This season, the Rams enter week one with Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Jake Funk, Xavier Jones, Raymond Calais, who was also there as well, but was more of a practice squad guy. And now, of course, we know that the Rams did just sign Otis Anderson Jr. So pretty loaded group, actually. Malcolm Brown is a departure for sure. That is that he is now a Tennessee Titan, and the Rams will feel that one, but ultimately I'm going to go, my verdict on this one, I'm going equal. So losing Brown, I think that will be made up by all of the guys from last year, which is Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Xavier Jones, Raymond Calais. They all now have one extra year of experience and a pandemic season too. So it's like that learning curve. I don't even know what that was like. I would love to ask that question to some of these players. Like, what was that like compared to some of the other previous years and all that? But I think with all of these guys having an extra year under their belt, I think that can make up for the Malcolm Brown departure. So I think that group does stay the same, though, because Malcolm Brown was a pretty talented running back, definitely underrated, and I think he's going to do a good job backing up Derrick Henry out there for Tennessee. We'll go to the wide receivers now. In 2020, the Rams entered Week 1 with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Josh Reynolds, and Simba Webster. This season, the Rams have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Simba Webster, and then some other guys on the roster as well that I believe would be more of a probably practice squad guys, all right? But we got Tristan Jackson, Jeremiah Hadel, Landon Akers, and Ben Skoranek. Ben Skoranek was a draft pick. For this one, on my verdict here, I'm going to go ahead and say that this position is an improvement. The Rams wide receiver group seem to have gained speed. So, of course, adding speed at the wide receiver spot is never a bad thing, especially when Sean McVay is the one calling your offense. So the Rams lose a guy in Josh Reynolds, who, in my opinion, I loved Reynolds. I'm a big Texas A&M guy, so I was stoked that Reynolds was here. But as far as contributions on the field, pretty average. So I think we replaced that average production on the field with speed, and I think that that's an improvement. Next up, we'll go to tight end. In 2020, the Rams entered Week 1 with Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett, Bryson Hopkins, and Johnny Munt. Really not a whole lot of changes here in 2021. We're going, of course, Gerald Everett's now gone, but with the Seahawks. But now we enter Week 1 with Tyler Higbee, Jacob Harris, Bryson Hopkins, Johnny Munt, and also Kendall Blanton is still around. So I do anticipate that Bryson Hopkins and Johnny Munt have a real shot at this roster, but keeping 4 tight ends would be gnarly. So I don't know if that'll be a pretty good battle between them. Bryson Hopkins, of course, coming in last year. Coaching staff is really high on him, but Munt is a very good blocker as well and actually had some pretty solid plays last year when he was called on. Gerald Everett, like I said, is a Seahawk, and Jacob Harris is also getting a lot of praise right now. So I think that he will, A, make the team, and B, I think contribute as the season goes on. I look for Jacob Harris to start really being in the offense, probably like week 11, 12, a little bit later in the season. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the verdict here. I'm going to go equal. Gerald Everett was a fun player to watch. He can have average hands, but was very difficult to tackle. Took like 4 or 5 dudes to take him down every time. Harris might be the real deal. But until we know for sure, I'm going to say that this is equal because I like Harris, but I also like, I like what Johnny Munt brought last year. Honestly, there was like a couple of late season games where it was like, okay, Johnny, all right. So, I think that I would say we're about the same there. And for offensive line, we're going to break it down by position as well. So for left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, 2021, is also going to be Andrew Whitworth. So same guy there. Verdict, hopefully equal. So Father Time is undefeated, and it's only a matter of time until Big Whit starts to feel those effects. And with the extra regular season game, is this the year? I mean, I hope not, but I would love to send off Big Whit into the sunset with a big old ring on his finger. That would be awesome. Left guard, 2021, Week 1 starter was Joe Noteboom. I do anticipate that Joe Noteboom would likely be the starter heading into 2021, but I've got some other names here for you, such as Austin Corbett, Jameel Demby, David Edwards, Bobby Evans, Coleman Shelton, Max Percher from Italy, and Jordan Meredith. Verdict, likely equal. No reason to think this position gets worse, especially with our depth. And the Rams have good depth along the offensive line and versatility along the offensive line. So these guys can play in multiple spots. But it stands to reason that Boom. Do we call him Boom? I started that. Did I start? I mean, I don't want to say I started that, but I just randomly started. I started it with myself calling no Boom, just Boom. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe it's not. I don't care. Next year, we'll go to the center position. In 2020, the Rams entered the season with Austin Blythe at center, and in 2021, it will likely be Austin Corbett, but Coleman Shelton and Brian Allen are also on the depth chart at the center spot. The verdict here, I'm going to say downgrade. And it's not because I don't like Austin Corbett, Coleman Shelton, and Brian Allen. It's because I really like Austin Blythe. He's a very good center. So I don't think it'll be a huge fall off. I don't think it'll be like where it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh man, our offensive line is chaos now because it was Blythe running the whole thing and he was the anchor. Very, very good player now with the Kansas City Chiefs, but ultimately I think that we're going to be okay here, but it is a downgrade. Austin Blythe was an awesome player. Austin Corbett, I think, can handle that. Coleman Shelton, I expect to back him up. Brian Allen, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I do think is a potential cut because he is so low on that depth chart at center, and he doesn't have the versatility that some of the other guys have. He is a center, not an interior offensive lineman. We haven't seen him play at any other spots, just center. At right guard, Austin Corbett started in 2020, but of course we got the same names that we just had. Noteboom, Corbett, Demby, Edwards, Evans, Shelton, Percher, Meredith. Likely equal again. I think that the Corbett was... I think Corbett is the clear starter at center with Blythe leaving. But we have a plenty of guys that can play in this spot and do fine. Like we saw Bobby Evans there in the playoffs. We saw, I think we've seen Edwards there. I think Coleman Shelton would do a good job. I'm really excited to see like Percher and Meredith and these guys in preseason, see what they do. Percher is cool. I would love to see the Italy guy make the squad and be a backup, And then I'm also leaving off names like Tremaine Ankrum that can play. He's more of like a tackle and guard kind of guy, whereas somebody like a Coleman Shelton is like a center and guard kind of guy. So there's some different versatility with some of these guys. At right tackle, the Rams have entered 2020 with Rob Havenstein and will, of course, enter 2021 with Rob Havenstein. I'm going to say that this is equal. Hard to think that Havenstein has reached the point where he will start to fall off. Rob has never been a superstar, but he has been a very strong starter for years for this team at right tackle. And as one of the 3 remaining St. Louis Rams on this roster, Havenstein, he still's got plenty of good years in him, and we'll have a couple of these St. Louis guys around for a little while. But there's at least one of them that I know you guys aren't complaining about, and that is good old Aaron Donald. And then also Johnny Hecker, who also played in St. Louis, and then it's Havenstein. Those are actually the only 3. So, but Havenstein's got plenty of years left, especially if he takes a page out of that Whit book and just keeps on playing forever. So that'd be cool stuff, huh? Let's head over to the defense. Defensive tackle, Aaron Donald, 2021 is also going to be Aaron Donald. Verdict, it's Aaron Donald. I mean, it's a strong spot for the Rams. It will be as long as Aaron Donald exists. It will be a very strong position for the Rams. Defensive end, last year the Rams started Michael Brockers, who is now a Detroit Lion. In 2021, the Rams have Bobby Brown III, Ashawn Robinson, Eric Banks, Jonah Williams, Michael Hoke, Greg Gaines, John Daka, George Sylvanik, Ernest Brown IV, and Marquise Copeland. Definitely some depth here. I would say, like, at this time, I don't have anybody that's, like, rising to the top of that, except for, I'm probably a little bit biased with my Bobby Brown love because I'm a Texas A&M fan, and I watched that dude crush it in the SEC for the last few years. So I was stoked when we brought him in. Ashawn Robinson is getting some praise right now, so I'm excited to see what he can do. George Sylvanik is the Colorado kid, so I'm excited for him. Greg Gaines, he started pretty weak last year, but got better. And keep in mind, guys, that for the defensive line, we shuffle a lot, so the spots are a little like, I said, like, we had one defensive end, Michael Brockers. That's what I listed here. So there's going to be a lot of shuffling no matter who makes this roster. But verdict, I'm going to say it's a downgrade, actually. Michael Brockers, he played really well with Donald. So that's what I'm going to look for, is who's going to play well with Aaron Donald. Because Brockers was only here in 2020 because, I think, partially because of Aaron Donald. He, of course, he had originally agreed upon a contract with the Baltimore Ravens last year, but failed his physical, and then he came back to the Rams, and AD was not happy that the Rams let him walk. So him coming back was a big thing, and it's because they play really well together. At nose tackle in 2020, the Rams started Greg Gaines, and I'll say the same names again. It's Brown, Robinson, Banks, Williams, Hoke, Gaines, Daka, Sylvanik, Brown, and Copeland. Same guys, because we'll see some shuffling there and some rotation there. But verdict, I'm going to say this is an improvement, especially from week 1. Because at the beginning of the season last year, Gaines was getting straight up bullied on that defensive line. So I think no matter what, even if it was Gaines to be the starter, I think it's an improvement because he started the season so weak last year. And he did get better as the season progressed, but I think we got some good guys here. Hoke is a guy that gets a lot of talk here. Robinson's getting talked about. Jonah Williams is getting talked about. So, I mean, we've got some guys on this defensive line. I like our depth there for sure. Let's go inside linebacker. In 2020, the Rams really had a 3-way rotation with Micah Kaiser, Kenny Young, and Troy Reeder. Those guys are all returning this year, but we also have, of course, Traven Howard, Justin Hollins, Ernest Jones, Derek Moncrief, and Christian Roseboom. Roseboom, by the way, I know I said that Jordan Fuller has the coolest hair on this team. It's definitely Roseboom. I mean, who am I kidding here? All right, front office best hair is Les Snead. On-field best hair, Christian Roseboom, linebacker. Verdict here, I'm going to say that this is an improvement. I think this spot just gets better with another season of experience, and all of these guys from a year ago with the addition of Ernest Jones, who's been, green dotting in some practices and stuff like that, calling some stuff out, and I think that I think that this is an improvement. You get all those guys with an extra season under their belts, and now you also get a guy that the coaches are clearly trusting to call some plays, so that's definitely not a negative aspect of the defensive side of the football here. At outside linebacker, we go to the 2020 season where the Rams started. It was Leonard Floyd and Samson Ebukam, but also Ogbonnaya Okoronkwo was there. Terrell Lewis when he wasn't, just dealing with his injuries and stuff like that. And then Ja'Kai Polite as well. And Polite, I liked out of college a lot. Then he was, with the Jets and all that stuff. He came over to us. He's kind of had I don't want to say worse, but it is like worse career than I expected him to have. But another year of experience, that's not a bad thing. In 2021, the Rams enter the season. Samson Ebukam is now a 49er, so he's not around anymore. But the Rams still do have Leonard Floyd, Ogbonnaya Okoronkwo, Terrell Lewis, Justin Lawler, Chris Garrett, and Max Roberts. Max Roberts is a UDFA. Chris Garrett was our last pick of the draft. And then Terrell Lewis, we know from last year. Justin Lawler's kind of been around a little bit. But the verdict here, I'm going to say, is equal. Ebukam becomes a division rival. And that sucks, but he definitely had a really high motor, but he was still crafting his technique while he was with the Rams. So if he can nail that, the kid's going to be really good. But the motor's there. He was still crafting his techniques. So he could have been a lot better, and maybe he will get a lot better. I would hope not now, because now he's a 49er. So I want Matthew Stafford to not hit the ground once this year. That'd be sweet. But if it happens, it happens. But ultimately, the position opposite of Floyd is really up in the air. I don't know who's exactly going to win this. I would expect Obo to really have some playing time, especially early in the season. But I fully expect a solid rotation here. Like Chris Garrett might be able to squeeze in there. Lawler, I think, is now, if he doesn't do it this year, if he doesn't really become a guy this year, then it's probably time to just move on. But then Terrell Lewis, if that guy can stay healthy, that dude's a monster. So I'm looking for that stuff, man. And this preseason will be very telling. I don't expect Leonard Floyd to play, so we'll get some good position battles to watch all throughout preseason for sure. And that's exactly what I can't wait for preseason for. I'm super pumped for it, and it's going to be an awesome time. Next year, we'll look at corner. In 2020, the Rams entered the season with Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams, Troy Hill, David Long Jr. Those were really the guys here. In 2021, the Rams entered the season with Jalen Ramsey, Darius Williams, David Long Jr., Robert Rochelle, Dante Dion, Kareem Orr, Diane Lake, and Bronte Harris. So, of course, a little bit more depth there. Of course, the recent guys, Diane Lake coming in. We talked about him a couple episodes ago. Kareem Orr coming in, Bronte Harris, Robert Rochelle, who I feel really good about, guys. I really do. I feel like Robert Rochelle might be a guy. He might be somebody by the end of the season we're like, holy crap, we nailed that pick. That's awesome. And Dante Dion, man, I think that he is such a positive locker room presence that I think he should stick around just for that. I'm not trying to dog his play in it by any means or anything. I haven't really seen too much of him, but his personality, I think, is electric, and I think that that's a very beneficial thing in this locker room, especially when you got guys like Jalen Ramsey and stuff like that who are out here having a good time, having fun out here. So Dante Dion brings that, man, and I love it. I think it's awesome. The verdict here, I'm going to say ultimately that this is equal. It would be really difficult to top what the Rams secondary as a whole did last year. It would be like a very high bar to clear. Troy Hill, he did lead the league in defensive touchdowns a season ago. He just seemed to have a knack for it last year. It just seemed to be in the right spot at the right time. That one against the Cardinals, where it just he picked it off and it was like, there's no way this is going all the way back. It just kept going. I don't know. It was wild to watch, but he did lead the league in defensive touchdowns. But, word on the street is that Robert Rochelle's pretty dang good, and this guy could have a monster career. This could be the start. He could be entering into a pretty monster career. And if Robert Rochelle can be that guy who the Rams, their weird little algorithm stuff is putting Robert Rochelle into the conversation with Jair Alexander, Jalen Ramsey, and Derwin James. And then it's Robert Rochelle. Those four have fallen under a certain category for the Rams analytics. So if that can happen, if that can be something that manifests the Rams with Rochelle and Ramsey, that could be a pretty deadly duo, which would be really fun to watch. And if these safeties that we'll get to here in a second, if they can keep improving too, I'm liking this defense. I think it's going to be another fun season to watch, this Rams defense. Speaking of safeties, last year, the Rams entered the year with John Johnson, Taylor Rapp, Terrell Burgess, Jordan Fuller, and Nick Scott. Some of those guys are still around. Of course, John Johnson is not. John Johnson is now a Cleveland Brown, Brown with Troy Hill. In 2021, though, this year, the Rams will enter with Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, Taylor Rapp, Nick Scott, Paris Ford, Jake Jervis, Juju Hughes, and Troy Warner. Some of these guys, of course, I don't expect all of these guys to make the roster. That's a bunch of safeties that you don't necessarily need, but Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, I feel good about those guys being the starters, and then Taylor Rapp and Nick Scott coming in to kind of spell a little bit. And Juju Hughes and Jake Jervis, I think that those guys definitely have the potential to fight for a roster spot. Juju Hughes, I like. Jake Jervis, I like. Troy Warner, I don't really know a lot about him. And Paris Ford, he's a guy that I've kind of penciled in as a potential impact guy for a UDFA that might be able to make this roster. But it's going to be tough because Fuller and Burgess are their players. And that, I mean, Rapp is that he's getting some comments that saying, talking about that he's doing a pretty good job, but I didn't see that improvement year 1 to year 2. So hopefully we can see that year 2 to year 3, we can see that upgrade there. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say it's a downgrade. John Johnson's one of the better safeties in the NFL. And that's going to be very difficult to replace. Fuller and Burgess, they entered their second season, and Fuller improved a lot over the course of last season. As the year went on, he just got better and better and better. But I think we'll be okay here, but let's not pretend like losing John Johnson isn't kind of a big deal. That guy's really good at football, all right? So let's not pretend like that's not a big one. Let's go to the kicker spot here. In 2020, the Rams started draft pick Samuel Sloman. And it didn't work out very well. And then the Rams went through a little bit of a transitional period and then landed on Matt Gay, who will enter this year as the Rams kicker. I'm going to say this is an improvement. Sloman did a bad job. He was not very good. And Gay played great wrapping up the end of the season. Only missed like a couple in that last final stretch there. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to miss any, but I mean, it's going to happen. And it's just all about timing of when you miss them. But I think that going from Sloman to Gay this year, I think that that's definitely an improvement. At punter, Johnny Hecker last year, Johnny Hecker this year. But we also have Corey Bojorquez and Brandon Wright on the roster right now. This Rams punter group is absolutely deep, man. The deepest punter group in the NFL. Tell Pat McAfee. I think I did on Twitter, actually. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is equal. The Heck will be back. It's nice to see a small competition for him, though. Competition is what I call it here, because we know that we feel pretty good that he's going to be the guy again. But it's good to keep him on his toes, especially because last year was technically his worst statistical year, his lowest averages, all that stuff. So it's good to get him out there and competing a little bit. I also want to see more fakes. All right, Joe D. We need to bring back the fakes because last year it was a real bummer not seeing any of them. So Johnny Hecker, man, he's got the arm. Let's let him use it. All right, his right arm and his right leg are awesome. I mean, we utilize both of those, and we'll do all right. And at the long snapper spot, last year the Rams entered with Jake McQuaid, and he is now a Dallas Cowboy. So Rams right now have a battle between Steven Wirtle and Matthew Orzech. The verdict here, I'm going to say this is a downgrade because both of these guys I think will be they can be solid starters in that spot. They can come in that role and be fine. But let's not pretend like McQuaid was not an absolute stud at the long snapper spot. All right, because this is what I was trying to think of, and I spent a decent amount of time trying to think of this. When was the last time, as Rams fans, I know I watch every single snap, including preseason, all that stuff. I watch every press conference, snap, all that. When was the last time you guys saw a bad snap? On a field goal or a punt, when was the last time we saw a snap that you're like, what the heck was that? None of the time I can think of where it's like, with Hecker reaching down to his feet to get the ball on a punt, or, he's the one holding it. They seem to be right there. They were just boom, boom, boom every time. I don't remember. I could not recall. I'm asking you guys, can you guys think of any time that the Rams long snapper, or like we had a kicking situation where the snap was bad? Because I could not. All right, that's our positional breakdown. We're going to go ahead and hit a break real fast. On the other side, we got fan quesos, so don't go anywhere. What's up, Rams fans? I'm Sheriff Joe Bags, and you need to know about Shaw's Customs. Custom vinyl decals are the best way to show all the other cars in traffic what you are most passionate about. Deals on vinyl packs right now with 7 different logos in yellow, white, or blue. Custom shot glasses and beer mugs for brewskis with the broskies. That's not all. No way. Superhero and political decals also available. Visit the link in the description and check it out for yourself. Tell Josh that Sheriff Joe Bag sent you. You won't get a deal, but he'll get a kick out of it. Shaw's Customs. June 26th, ComptonMania presents The Ghetto Gauntlet. Over 20 wrestlers in the ring trying to survive the ghetto and become the first ever champion of ComptonMania and be known as the motherfucking man. Witness history with us and join the mania. Come see PBA, Shiloh, Judas, Candy Girl, and many more with special guest Caesar Black. Enjoy some of the hottest music the city has to offer with City Underground. Food, raffles, face painting, and much more. Want a rally towel and to sit ringside? You need to go VIP. Visit ComptonMania.com for more information. The Ghetto Gauntlet. Will you survive? Welcome back in, Rams fans. Make sure you guys check out ComptonMania.com because that is happening this weekend, the 26th. And it's going to be absolutely awesome. So make sure you guys go check that out for sure. You guys need to check that out, all right? And then, again, Shaw's Customs, we're doing that giveaway. If you guys missed the giveaway or don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the beginning of the podcast. Just restart it. Just go ahead. Go all the way to the beginning. Just start from there and then come back, all right? We'll wait for you. Hey, welcome back, everybody that went back to the... All right, let's go ahead and get into our fan quesos here. I think this is just Cody. We got a Cody onslaught here. Cool with me, man. All right, let's knock these out. First one here. How about Matthew Stafford and Sean Mcvay are recently single and walk into a bar? Who gets the girl first? I mean, I feel like it's going to be Sean McVay. Matthew Stafford's like a little bit of a dork. And as a dork, I feel like I can spot him. And Sean McVay is a cool guy, so he's got the hair and stuff, and he does 100 push-ups in 4 minutes or something. Do you guys see that video? I don't know. Let's see. Who do you think is the most overrated current Rams player and underrated? Should have read this one. All right, let's see. I'm gonna say underrated. Oh, man, I can't go with any of the rookies because I don't know yet, but I'm gonna say underrated is Jordan Fuller. Fuller, my dude, is not getting enough credit over here, all right? Jordan Fuller, number 4, is not getting nearly enough credit, so I'm going to say he's underrated. As far as overrated, God, I hate this question because it always makes me feel like a jerk. I'm going to say... You know what? I'm just going to do it. I like him, but I'm going to say it's Leonard Floyd, all right? Because... we've had guys as our edge rushers who've done awesome over the years. And it seems like everybody we have there, they tend to do okay, at least. All right. Do you remember who was Leonard Floyd was the guy. I mean, obviously he's now our guy, but Fowler, Dante Fowler. I mean, he's not that awesome, but he played great with us. So I'm going to say it's that edge rusher spot. And by default, that happens to be Leonard Floyd. What position battles would you most like to be a fly on the wall for this year? Ooh, I mean, that's a solid one. I'm going to say that spot opposite of Leonard Floyd, actually, because Leonard Floyd, we know that he's going to be the starter and he's going to be productive because that's what Rams edge rushers do. But on the other side there, I mean, with Terrell Lewis, with Ogbonnia Okoronkwo, Justin Lawler, I think it really is a toss-up there. So I would like to see that one for sure. As far as that, any of that interior offensive line, man, it's a tight battle right now. It's not necessarily like a tight battle in the sense of like, I don't know. We've got so many options there. It's a good problem to have that we have like so many guys that I feel comfortable with. Of course, I don't make any of the decisions here. I just tell them to you guys. But I think that interior offensive line and then that spot opposite of Flo, I think I'm going to stick with those. I think that those will be very good spots. And then that nickel spot as well at corner, because it seems like David Long Jr. is pretty comfortable there. He seems like a reasonable fit there. But, you know, I'm going to keep talking about Robert Rochelle. All right, I'm a fan. I think it's cool. Any news on the rumors that Donald would like the Rams to sign Melvin Ingram or thoughts on the potential fit? Yeah, it would absolutely be a fit, and the Rams would absolutely use him, and he would be the guy opposite of Leonard Floyd immediately. He would be day one opposite of Leonard Floyd, and that would be awesome. As far as rumors, there are no real rumors on this, actually. I saw the information that's out there right now. All that happened was there was a post, and it was like, what team should sign Melvin Ingram? Aaron Donald tweeted it, like retweeted it, quote tweeted it, and just did the eyes emojis. Which is like my favorite one. Like it's so like provocative, but I don't know why. Like I don't really. You don't know what it means, but like everybody knows what it means. Like you're just like looking. I don't know, but no, there's no real rumors on this right now. It's just that Donald did that. That was it. So is this recruiting? Not nearly to the level that Jalen Ramsey recruits, but it is something, I guess. But I wouldn't be opposed to this at all. I think that Melvin Ingram would be awesome. I think he's a heck of a player, and it would be cool for him. He wouldn't have to move far. Who can pound the most beers, Stafford versus Goff? Bro, come on now. Goff probably doesn't even drink beer. End of the world on the line. Who do you pick? And would McVay destroy them both? Dude, I feel like McVay doesn't drink that much, actually. I feel like none of these guys drink that much, honestly. Like, I feel like I'll be real with you guys right now. I feel like this is a place I can be honest. And I feel like I could crush all three of these guys at chugging some beers, all right? I may be built like this, all right? But I'm also out here in Colorado where most of you guys would not be able to hang for sure. And I also drink beers, man. That's something I do. I can crush some beers. So I think I would outdrink all three of them, or at least be able to outchug them. But I'm going to say, out of these guys, I'm going to say Stafford, especially over Goff. I feel like Goff doesn't drink beers, man. Like, I feel like Goff is like, everything I say is going to be rude. I don't I don't want to say like White Claws or anything like that, but it's like kind of like the vibes he gives. If he goes beer, he goes with something like super lame, like Bud Light or something like that. If you guys drink Bud Light, you know what? I'm not even sorry about that comment. It's bottled water, all right? I remember I had a Bud Light because we were doing a taste testing thing. We were just trying other beers, and so to cleanse our palates, we had Bud Light. And it really, like, it was the first time I'd had it in years, and I tasted it, and it was like, wow, like, that really does not taste, like, it's no flavor at all. It's wild. Maybe I've damaged myself by all the beers that I drink, and I like the dark, like, beefy stuff, like stouts and porters and all that stuff. Like, the more obnoxious, the better, except for IPAs are the worst thing in the universe. So, ugh. If you like IPAs, you're lying to everybody. They taste like pine cones. Anyway, got off track there. Are you at all worried about Stafford's injury history? It's not that big, honestly. I mean, so no. He's a football player. It's a violent sport. People are going to get hurt. He hasn't missed that much time. I mean, and he could have missed a lot more. With some of the stuff he's dealt with, man, he could have missed a lot more. So no, I'm not worried. If he sat out every time he was hurt or beat up a little bit, that would worry me, but no. That dude's tough. That's what everybody says. Literally, the words that everybody uses is tough as nails. That's like what people say about him. Calvin Johnson just said it. No, I'm not worried about his injury history at all. And honestly, I'm like surprised that that's the conversation with Stafford. Because that's really never been a concern for him his entire career. Like, yeah, he's had like those years where he missed like, what was it, like 8 games, whatever, missing a decent chunk of time. Those are like big injuries though. People get hurt. This is football. So I don't know, but no, he's super tough, man. And as long as this is also the best offensive line he's ever seen. So I think he's going to be okay. Your top 5 2021 Rams games you're looking forward to. Jags number 1, because I'm going to that game. Ooh, that's tough. I'm looking forward to both Niners games this year because we've struggled with them. So I'm looking forward to those. That Ravens game, we need payback on them, man. That last game, that Monday night game, oh my God, it was the worst, dude. So yeah, that one for sure. Jags, both Niners. The Bears week 1 because I think that's going to be one where I think that's going to be a big game, man. I think that's going to be one of those where it's like, oh, man, the Rams are a team. Like, and, it's the Bears, and they're going to start Dalton probably. But either way, that's cool. I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think just like off the dome what our games are really. Bucks, again. We beat them last year in Tampa Bay, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl. So that's an early one. That's like, week 3? That'll be an exciting one. And then definitely I'll just go to the preseason game. Denver. I'll be there. Come drink beers. See if you guys can last in this Colorado altitude. See if you can do it. Bring it on. All right. Anyway, with the Bears looking to get a new stadium, reason I ask is because every team just going to eventually get a dome. Are we just going to have weather in football thing of the past? I don't want to see that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, actually. I don't think that they'll get a dome. I know we've heard about the potential new stadium stuff with the Bears. I don't think that they'll go dome. I think that there are certain teams that I don't think will ever go dome. Bears are one of them. Green Bay Packers are another one. I think the Giants, I think that they would refuse. I think the Bills would refuse to go dome. Those Bills fans are insane, and I don't think that they would want a dome. I think that they want to be out there in the blizzards and stuff, man. The Steelers will never go dome. I doubt maybe the Eagles. They just seem a little soft to me, honestly, but that's just right now, I guess. But I don't think the Eagles would go dome. The Broncos will never go dome. Let's see. Yeah, and then you got like the Southern teams, Jags, they'll never go dome, I don't think. I mean, they're just improving their stadium, so maybe they would do like a cover or something. But no, I don't think that that's a thing of the past, man. I think that that's something like, if anything, I could see something like what the Dolphins did, where they kind of like canopy a little bit, or even what the Rams did. We don't necessarily have it's a cover, but it's not like attached. It's just like our field's there, and it also happens to have this giant thing over it. You know what I mean? But no, I don't think domes are going away all the way. There's certain fan bases and teams that I just don't think, like the two biggest ones. The two biggest teams that I see never having a dome would be the Bills and the Packers. I just don't think it's going to happen. And then the Bears would be right after that. So Bills, Packers, Bears, Steelers. Yeah, I don't think that those teams would go dome. Who's the biggest stoner member of the Rams? And if you don't know, who do you think it is? Is this question what I think it is? Because I have no idea if that's... I really don't know. I don't even know how I would answer that. I don't know, man. I hate to blow off your question entirely, but I really don't have an answer for you there on that one. I don't know. Maybe Jalen. I don't know. Maybe he likes to party, I'm sure. But I also don't want to put anybody into a box and like get them randomly selected, as if Goodell's watching me or something. Jared Goff. Damn it, dude. Come on. I said last week I didn't want any more Goff questions. Jared Goff, journeyman backup in his future. If his run doesn't end well, like speculated in Detroit, so I'm doing a bad job reading today, I guess. In Detroit, he potentially just a product of Sean McVay, and if so, how much better can McVay make Stafford? And do you feel like with better coaching, he can still get better and improve? Everybody can get better and improve. Like, just because Stafford's 33 does not mean that he cannot get better anymore. And he's also had pretty bad coaches his entire career, so I'm sure it's a whole world opening up for him right now, and I'm sure he's going to get better. That's the thing, is like who Matthew Stafford was last year is not like, you don't just take every skill set and every like decision and every like the knowledge and anything and just plop that into our team and then go. He's learning McVay. He's learning, he's probably teaching McVay, honestly, a little bit. He's been doing this stuff a while. And I think that Stafford is eager to learn. I think that he's a guy that is a worker. So I think that he's absolutely improving, at least in some capacity, whether that's just maybe learning the playbook a little faster. Maybe that's, understanding his new team, anything like that. But yeah, things are happening. Brains are moldable, man. That's what's cool about it. That's why people learn things and do things and stuff. That's why you guys are probably here right now. You guys are going to leave this with at least one thing that you didn't know. Maybe, I would hope so, that you didn't know before, that you can now you're improving. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's going to get better. Is Jared Goff going to be a journeyman? I don't know, man. I liked Goff coming out of college. I think he gets really stuck in, I think he really gets lost in his own brain. When he gets flustered, he is flustered. We talked about it all last year, that, it felt like you knew what kind of game we were going to have on the first drive because of Jared Goff. if he throws 3 incomplete passes, we go 3 and out, we punt. It's like, well, I'll see you guys next week, I guess. Like, because it was just going to be a bad game. But if the first play is an 8-yard, 8-yard pass to Josh Reynolds, and then it was a 13-yard pass to Woods, and it was like, okay, we're going to win this game. It's just the way it felt last year. But, I'm interested to see how Jared Goff responds to that new coaching style, because Sean McVay and Dan Campbell, very different humans. And this is a human game when you have that many guys. I mean, the coaching staff is huge. Each position has its own guy. Each team has 53 dudes on it. That's a lot of humans, a lot of personalities to fit into. Is it something that's going to help him going to Detroit? Maybe being a California dude his whole life and being like from Cal, and then he goes to the LA Rams. Maybe going to Detroit is what Jared Goff needs. Maybe that mindset and that Dan Campbell biting off kneecaps and stuff, maybe that's exactly what Jared needs to become a better quarterback. And if that's the case, then hey, I'm rooting for the kid. I am. I'm telling you guys that every week. I think that I'm rooting for the kid to succeed. I don't think that he's there yet, but is that a situation that he can get better in? Absolutely. I mean, some people thrive in different situations. I know some people thrive with like, hey, bud, you can do it. Go get him. Like some people need that, and some people need the get off your ass, go do this. Some people need that. That's how I work. I need that. You know what I mean? Like when I'm being coached or whatever. Like that's what I respond to. I don't need the hey, you do whatever you put your mind to, because I think that's lame. And I immediately I'm like, yeah, like just it's not motivating to me. I need to get off your ass, go do it. If you want something, work for it. That's how I live. So maybe that's exactly what Jared Goff needs, man. Is Les Snead top 10 GM? Bruh. Yes. Name 9 that would be better than him. Please. I'm asking you a question. This queso's coming back at you, bro. Name some GM. Give me all the GMs that you would think are better than Les Snead. I feel like you don't like Les Snead, dude. We need to have a conversation about this, Cody. I think we need to talk about you and Les Snead. All right, let's make a deal. Snead and Cody are not seeing eye to eye, I think. And this needs to be remedied. All right, so is Les Snead top 10 GM, and where would you rank McVay in the NFL as a head coach? And currently, is he the best coach in the division? Yeah, I mean, I put out the rankings. I said he's the best coach in the division, but I would say that Shanahan's right there as well. So I think that, Pete Carroll, as awesome of a career as he's had, he is sub 500 when he does not have Russell Wilson as his quarterback in the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, has an incredible roster and is not putting it together. So I think he's the worst in the NFC West right now. And then Shanahan and McVay are very, very good coaches, and they basically have they almost have identical careers to this point. Going to lose the Super Bowl, bad year following. We'll see what Shanahan does this year, but where do I put McVay? I mean, that's tough. I don't know, man. I mean, for sure, upper 50%. He's probably around that 12 range, maybe higher. I would probably put him higher. He seems top 10 to me, right? I mean, the Rams were trash for how many years? And then the second McVay comes in, 2017 and on, we've just been amazing. There's only one team. I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline. So forgive me, guys. I bash people for doing that, but I was at work, so I couldn't read it. But it said that there's only one team since 2017, when Sean McVay became the Rams coach, there's only one team that has spent more weeks being above 500 than the Rams. And I didn't see who it was. It's probably like the Chiefs or something like that. But but the Rams have been doing amazing. And the Rams, since McVay showed up, our entire culture changed immediately. All right. So yeah, I think he's one of the top coaches. Do you think McVay will continue to get outcoached by the Niners, or was he not all to blame and you blame Goff? I mean, yeah, Goff was certainly to blame on some of those passes. You're like, what are you doing, dude? But also McVay's got to find a way to get around Shanahan. Staley had trouble with it. I mean, because we lost to Nick Mullins. God, I hate that. But so maybe Raheem Morris is the key there. Maybe it's Stafford. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I can't say that I think that he'll continue to get out coached, but I'm really excited to see those matchups this year and see how that coaching battle ends up going this year. Now that the Niners are clearly straying away from Jimmy G, and they picked up Trey Lance, and now the Rams move on from Goff and now bring in Stafford. So the battle's there, and that's going to be fun to watch, because now I think each coach has a guy at quarterback that they feel really good about. So that'll be pretty telling for us. Where do you rank our receiver core in the division and NFL-wise? I would say, I mean, it's a top 5 unit for sure. There's some teams that also have very, very strong wide receiver groups. Titans are one of them for sure now, especially adding Julio. We don't have any because I really like Robert Woods. Robert Woods is our best guy right now. And then Cooper Kupp, super talented, but he's missed all of our biggest games, which is unfortunate. It sucks for injuries and stuff like that, but he has missed all of our biggest games. Our depth is there, but we don't have that one guy who everybody in the NFL is like, holy crap. Like if that would have been like Julio Jones coming in, that would have been the guy, but we don't have the guy. We just have like a bunch of really good ones. So I would say a top 5 unit. What do you think about 1-year ring chasing contract offer for Sherman, potentially moving to safety even? No, I don't want Richard Sherman at all. I don't think we need him. Our secondary is not only stacked, but deep as well. Sherman, I don't know what it is, and I feel like I'm alone here, but I feel like every interception that Sherman gets, it's thrown right to his numbers. When does he make an amazing play on the ball? Like, when does he make a break on the ball and do something amazing? It's usually just thrown to him. It's like a weird thing, and like, please, if you guys have examples, send them to me. I will feel free to look at that and say that I'm wrong. But most of his interceptions that I see, he's just standing there in the middle of the field and the ball's just coming right towards him and he just catches it and runs. Like, that's not amazing to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a jerk, probably. But no, we don't need Sherman. I don't want Sherman. Taylor Rapp to middle linebacker on passing downs versus being in the safety role. You know, he kind of already does that a little bit. He kind of comes into the box in passing downs. But he's not necessarily... I would like to see him a little bit bigger to really play that Mark Barron role. Yeah, Mark Barron role. We're going back to that. All right, last one here. Why do we see more underperforming receivers switch to tight ends that have the physicals? I don't have enough information on this one, I think. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Who went to tight end after too big to be a wide receiver or something like that? I'm not sure what you're actually referencing here, dude. So I do apologize about that. Trying to think. I know Jacob Harris can play inside, he can play tight end and play outside as well, but it's not like physical limitations pushing him to tight end. I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, he's a tight end who can also play outside because he's big and physical. So that is going to do it for our fan cases. Thank you guys so much for dropping those. Feel free to drop them on below. You can comment them and I will catch them. You guys can add me on Facebook. That's usually where I ask for these. You can just search my name, Joe Branham. Pretty simple. Sheriff Joe Bags. I'm sure that brings it up. I put it in the little parentheses thing, so you can type in like Joe Branham, but then also Sheriff Joe Bags. It should pop me up there. I think. I can't guarantee it. Make sure you guys check out ComptonMania.com. Make sure you guys check out Shaw's Customs, and Shaw's Customs and ComptonMania. That's good stuff, right? I was messing with my effects this week. So now you guys get that. That's cool stuff. Make sure you guys follow Ram Showcase on all your favorite social media. That'll be at Ram Showcase on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Ram Showcase. You can follow myself as well at Sheriff Joe Bags on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Sheriff Joe Bags. Keep it super simple there. And make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, and then comment your favorite player to be in the drawing for Shaw's Custom Prize Pack that will be announced next week. It'll be awesome stuff, guys. I'm excited. We'll get some more giveaways going here, and we'll get some trivia questions when we bring back live shows, which I do anticipate being before the season. So keep an eye out on that. We got all the equipment and everything like that. Just it's June, and we're going into July, so we don't really need to do live shows right now. But we'll be getting there, hopping on some other networks as well that you guys can follow. I'll just tell you guys, it's Notoriety Sports Network. I will stream there. Some awesome dudes over there who are busting their butt cheeks to do some amazing things. So make sure you guys follow NSN, Notoriety Sports Network. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Rams Showcase on Sports War Radio. For those of you who are Rams fans, I ruined that. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys have a great night.